This episode of Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh is sponsored by The Mortgage Dad. Working with George's team gives you access to an unmatched menu of mortgage programs and over 100 years of combined mortgage experience. Skip the stress, love your mortgage experience, and get home with George. Visit www.homewithgeorge.com. NMLS ID 443967.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Reppin' the State Line podcast with John, George, and Josh. I'm one of your co-hosts, John, and I'm here with both of the gentlemen. George and Josh are both here today. This is our episode 8, guys. I can't believe we've been doing this for 8 episodes already. How you been this past week?
Good afternoon, everybody in the State Line area.
I've had a fun week. Let's just put it that way. I had a great time off last week, just like you. Florida was great to me. Coming home and the trip home, and once we got back, was not so good. So, little COVID in the household. Ooh. Unfortunately, my wife caught some COVID, and she's been living in the basement since we've returned. So it's kind of quiet in the house. But
all right, now before we go,
I love how everybody says I caught the COVID like you caught like an STD or something. Like, oh shucks, I was on the plane, I caught the COVID, baby.
All right, well, I just want to clarify though for those, because this has been a joke in our household. When George told me about Monica and that she had a quarantine to the basement, and it was like my wife was like, "Tell him I'll quarantine in his basement." I mean, if you haven't seen George's basement, it's a full bar. There's a big screen projection TV that drops out of the ceiling. Beautiful bathroom. A brand new bedroom was built down there. I mean, I would pretend I have COVID every 3 weeks just to quarantine to the basement.
Are you sure she actually has COVID?
Or did she just want some time?
A vacation from the vacation.
I do have a funny story. So she's being extra cautious because we leave for London next week and we want to all be totally clear. So she's been down there and she refuses to come up until she has zero symptoms left. And last night it sounded like she was getting better. And then this morning I talked to her. I'm like, "Oh, are you coming out of the dungeon?" She's like, "No, I got a headache now. I'm gonna have to stay down here at least another day."
So are you making dinner and leaving it on the third stair?
Exactly what we're doing. Yep.
Or is she door dashing into the basement window?
No, that's an interesting idea, but no, we're leaving it on the top step and steering clear.
But is that really how it works? I feel like though you have your central system in your house that is gonna just circulate it through anyways. I mean,
could be, but how? I mean, in order to catch COVID, you have to have 20 minutes of close contact. I don't think that's going to survive.
And I know, I mean, after what, 16 years of marriage, you guys didn't have any close contact? Come on, you should be having COVID too. Right?
Somehow I've managed to steer clear. So we're down to just me. I'm the only one that is yet to have COVID, period, in the household. So we'll see. We'll see how much longer I last. Hopefully at least get me through London, come home, and then at that point I'm home for a while. I don't care.
So what's going on in London that you're traveling away?
So I'll take you back at the end of last year, or maybe it was early this year. My kids are diehard Ed Sheeran fans, and he dropped his new album and they were listening to it nonstop. And so I Googled Ed Sheeran concert, and sure enough, he was not performing anywhere but Europe right now. And we actually had a London trip booked back when there was a big terrorist attack in Paris. We were going to do London and Paris, and it was the week before we were supposed to go, or 2 weeks before that terrorist attack happened. My wife freaked out and we canceled. So we've had it on our list, and I was looking up tickets, and sure enough, there was Wembley Stadium had openings, and we're like, why don't we go? It's a holiday weekend. I'll see what we can find for flights, and we just did it. And so we're going there we leave Wednesday and come back on Tuesday. So just under a week.
So you're going over for the 4th of July, or as they say in England, Happy Treason Day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm gonna make sure I wear my red, white, and blue too, loudly and proudly.
So, a Union Jack T-shirt. You'll have to wear a Union Jack. You're gonna be in England.
I think you should need to go with the cutoff jorts with a little fray.
Okay.
A cutoff denim jacket, right, with a giant American flag on the back of it.
On the back, and then a USA tank top. Like go total stereotypical.
And then wear a Joe Dirt mullet, like a wig Joe Dirt mullet.
A wig? All right. I got some shopping to do then, but from now until next week, it sounds like.
If somehow George pulls off somewhere along this look that we are describing, right, and he sends us a picture, we'll, one, put it in the podcast, and two, we'll give away someone that listens to that. Vision will give away a $20 gift card to some lucky fan that listens to that podcast or watches that podcast. But George has to get a picture looking like the most hillbilly American that he possibly can for the 4th of July.
That's awesome. All right, well, and just to recap from last week's challenge that we gave everybody, Josh, George, you weren't here, so we donated you anyway.
Okay.
We've got 949 members at our Repping the State Line page on Facebook. This is the group page, Repping the State Line. Get in there, join if you're watching. So we said if we could hit 1,000, we hit 1,000 members, we are going to randomly pick 3 people, and each of them are going to win a $25 gift card to a local establishment in the state line. So, and one will be donated by Josh at Vision Insurance, one by me with the Broder Rockstar Group at EXP, and one by you, the mortgage dad with Planet Home Lending. So, I mean, there you go. We got 949. We need 51 more followers to hit that 1,000 and give away $75. So let's go, guys. Go to State Facebook and like it. And while I'm doing this liking rant real quick, if you're watching us on YouTube, go to YouTube and do all the YouTubey things, right? Like it, share it, subscribe to our channels. If you're listening to this podcast on Buzzsprout, Apple iTunes, podcasts, Amazon Music, we're on there. We're on Spotify. Like and subscribe, and then shoot us a message. Let us know what you think of the show and what you'd like to see. So that's my little rant for now. I'll do that again at the end of the show, just as a reminder. But what you got going on this coming week, Josh?
This is my last day of work this week, and if I had JB and George's money, I would afford to be able to take an entire week off work, but I can't. So I have a short little sneak getaway with the boys. So shout out to my wife for actually allowing me to leave the good old state of Illinois by myself for once. That's great. I have an old college buddy of mine, Evan Carr, who was a submarine pitcher. So when he threw, his knuckles pretty much scraped the ground.
Oh wow!
He's getting married.
So he was like one of those sidearm guys.
Not even side, like almost completely underhand. And
Who's
who's
that MLB pitcher that used to do that?
Oh, there's a couple. But his knuckles would almost scrape the dirt. That's how low he would get.
Oh wow!
But he is taking away the manhood and getting the bottle opener on his left hand. So a bunch of us college buddies are heading out to the great state of New York to Buffalo area. And we're gonna tear up the town. So me and my buddy Dalton are leaving freshly at 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we're driving 8 hours to Pittsburgh, and we got tickets to the Pittsburgh Pirates Cubs game. That's at 12:30 tomorrow. And then we got a hotel room right across the street. So we're gonna go out on the town in Pittsburgh. I've never been. I don't know what it's like. I don't think he's ever been, so it's gonna be kind of cool. Then Friday, we're going to drive the final 4 hours up to Buffalo and just hang out with the boys. So it's pretty exciting stuff. Never been to New York. I've actually never been out east past like Toledo. Like Toledo and Washington, D.C. is the farthest east I have ever been. I've been everywhere out west playing baseball and southwest, all that. Been there.
Nice.
So I'm kind of excited to, journey to another part of the United States I've never been to. So
awesome.
I've never been to Buffalo, but the Northeast is beautiful. It's a great place and there's great people. So being from New York City, though, we would make trips straight up the coast. So Mystic, Connecticut, go to Providence, Rhode Island, go to Boston, Massachusetts, up to Salem, Massachusetts, do trips like that. Because I mean, Boston was only a 6-hour drive, so you could do that for a weekend. But yeah,
is it Salem, Massachusetts, where they had all those witch hunts back then?
Salem, Massachusetts.
Yep.
Yeah, my wife and I actually did our 1-year anniversary there. We stayed at
I really want to go. I really want to go there at like Halloween time. Like
the place is amazing.
I'm sure it's like a giant like tourist attraction at that time. But man, wouldn't that be beautiful? Like all the fall colors, the cool breeze, the spookiness of the area. Do a little witch hunt myself. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Nope, it's definitely a really nice place to visit. Salem, they got some amazing things there. Regardless, there's a restaurant out in the bay, and you take like a small boat to go out to the restaurant, and then you like eat on this little boat. But it's not like a fancy yacht or anything like that. It's like a barge type boat, and it's really cheap seafood on paper plates and utensils, and like that's how it is because they're on this boat. It's like everything has to be disposable, and the barge stays out there all the time. Just two giant propane. That food has to be just incredible.
And like that's what I'm looking for in Buffalo, right? Because there are two things in upstate New York, right, close to Canada: Labatt's beer, you drink a ton of it, and chicken wings. Like I want to know, kind of. I don't know if there's anyone that's listens to us that has been to Buffalo, but if you're listening this Friday and you've been in that area and you think you know the best spot for chicken wings, please call me. Let me know. Because I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, best place for wings in Buffalo. That's going to be the challenge. So, and if somebody says Buffalo Wild Wings, I'm going to ban you from the page. That's just how it is.
I'll tell you something.
Right hook, baby.
My dad's brother's kids, so my first cousins, they grew up in Buffalo, and my uncle and aunt still live in Buffalo. So what I'll do is, so I will ask East Amherst, which is a suburb of Buffalo, but I'll text them before you go and see if they remember, maybe there's some places that they used to go. And I mean, they're all grown and they all moved to like the Orlando area and
Tampa. Oh, nice.
So
yeah, I think we're gonna catch. There's is it the Mets AAA team? Yes. Yeah, the Mets AAA team is up there.
The Syracuse Mets.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. I mean, because all those towns are within a spit of each other. So yeah, I think we're gonna try to check out one of those. Yeah, they play Friday night. I guess it might. I think someone said it was like $1 beer night or all you can drink beer night or something along those lines.
And make sure you bring a folding card table or picnic table to crash through as well while you're there, because they'd like to do that in Buffalo too.
Dude, I'm going to. We are breaking some tables.
We need video of you like jumping off a van, breaking through a table, yelling "woo!"
Yeah, I would love to. I'll tell you what.
Bill's Mafia.
You send me a video with your buddies of you doing that, and I'll wear the hillbilly outfit in London. Next week we're gonna have some great footage to recap our trips.
Oh man. Hey,
technically,
actually, your trip is in 2 weeks, George. So we're all going to be together next week because you'll be back by our next recording.
I will.
I head out of town as well for 4th of July weekend. I'm heading to St. Louis for the first time. I've never been to St. Louis.
St. Louis is one of my favorite cities in the whole United States that I've been to. Right. I think St. Louis might be one of my favorite cities ever to visit. We go every year. And I think I told you this before. There's a restaurant, and we call it Bob's. It's called Broadway Oyster Bar. It's just south of the St. Louis Cardinal Stadium, maybe 3 blocks, if that. And they are a southern Louisiana restaurant. So they have oysters, they have shrimp po' boys. I mean, anything southern seafood, they have. Almost every meal comes with red beans and rice. The stuff like that. And it is by far my favorite restaurant, I think, in the whole United States. And we specifically go on guys' trips or family trips, whatever, just to get Bob's. Like it's hey, we haven't been to Bob's in a while, let's go. And then we plan a trip around But the thing is, it's busy. So you got to call whatever day you're going to go, get a reservation, because I mean they have an awesome outdoor patio. They have live music all the time. It's
Very
just
cool.
It's an experience, man.
I'm definitely
Awesome.
looking forward to the trip. My wife's been down there a couple of times for stuff, so we're staying at the Union Station Hotel right downtown. They converted an old train station. I guess there's an aquarium attached to it. It's just like craziness, and everything's within walking distance. So I'm really looking forward to that. But that'll be in about 2 weeks. So we're not leaving until the 30th. We'll be back on the 3rd in time to celebrate 4th of July right here at home.
Isn't that next week?
That's next Thursday, yes.
Yeah.
So craziness.
You ain't got a couple weeks. You got a week.
Yeah.
We're recording now. This airs on Friday. Another one will air while we're gone. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy.
You guys are gonna be in cool places for the 4th of July. I have another baseball tournament, man. Baseball tournament weekends.
Tis the season, yeah. The long days of summer are here, and baseball.
It's fun
for me. See, I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a White Sox fan. I know you're a Cub fan, but it's just
whoa. He's not a Cub fan.
I'm not a Cub fan.
You're not a Cub fan?
No, he's a Sox. Sox.
Oh, that's right, White Sox fan. All right.
So he's only going to a Cubs game with a bunch of Cubs fans.
Yeah, you threw me off there. I'm sorry. That's right. You're a Sox fan. So we're Sox fans, but I don't know.
And then JB's the fan of probably one of the hottest teams in baseball right now.
Mets,
What a season the Mets are having.
I don't want to speak too much of it because I'm afraid I'll jinx it. You know what I mean? But the Mets
what's
are just
the acronym they use?
What
acronym?
Mets? Well, yeah, it's L. Yeah, well, it's the hashtag. It's LGFM or LFGM. You can think what the F stands for, but it's LGM. Let's go Mets. Mr. Met is our boy, and just an amazing team this year. I'm just impressed.
I'm a diehard Sox fan, and
the Sox have been doing well, though. I've been following the Sox this year because
they're 500 today. They're back to 3 games out of first. I think you know what? Last year we coasted all season. We were in first place all season, and then we did nothing in the playoffs. This year we're hurt. A lot of injuries, a lot of argumentation, and people disappointed, and the manager want him to be ousted, and you know what, we're still in it. And you know what, to me baseball comes down to who's the hottest come October, and that's it. So as long as you stay within striking distance, let these dog days of summer go, get everybody healthy. It's not over.
A lot of injuries also with the White Sox.
It's like every week somebody.
Just growing up in New York City, and you're absolutely right. It's all about who's hottest in October. Mr. October himself, Reggie Jackson, New York Yankees. I mean, that's why the Yankees were such a big dynasty. They were always healthy coming into the playoffs, and then just going. But they also had the deepest pockets in baseball for how many years as well. So it's nice to see the Mets actually doing something for a change, though. Like I said, I've been following the Sox this year. They're having some good games. I mean, and when they what? How do I want? No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you feel about the Little League stadium that you have to share with the city with?
The Little League stadium?
Yeah.
Shea Stadium.
The Yankee Stadium. You know, it's a little tight stadium.
Little. Yankee Stadium is a beautiful stadium. They spent a lot of money to make it work. I mean, I have not been to Citi Field yet, so I really want to go. I used to live at Shea Stadium. I grew up 7 train stops away from the stadium. So think of like somebody from Chicago that lives right near Wrigley or right near, Comiskey Park, which that's all I'm always going to call it regardless. That they just went there all the time as a kid. That's what it was. Back when baseball was cheap and you could go.
Dollar Thursday, hot dog Thursdays, half
right. Well, that's it. We used to.
Those are
as kids in the summertime, like right now, we would hop on the 7 train. We would go, 7 train stops up to Flushing Meadow Park. We would walk up to Shea Stadium, give the guy $9, get tickets. We were up in the nosebleeds, couple bucks for a hot dog, drinking sodas. And by the 7th inning, we were down on field level. Just worked our way down the stadium to field level. And nobody cared. It's just a bunch of kids, enjoying baseball. So, I mean, I miss those kind of days. I'm glad to see so many minor league parks coming around that are bringing that kind of atmosphere and getting the kids into the game. Like we were just talking last week, Josh, over here. I was at the Sky Carps game last week. Just amazing little stadium. You know, double A team for the Miami Marlins. Just really good time. You know, going to the Rivets games. It's just an amazing experience. So I mean, it's good baseball that's inexpensive and great family entertainment. So, and I guess there's a big thing happening this weekend prior to Amazon releasing the Rockford Peaches TV series, where they're doing some big festival thing right here in Rockford. I tried opening it up, but I don't subscribe to the Rockford Register Star, so I haven't found any information on it. So if somebody wants to tell me exactly what's going on, because I couldn't open the webpage.
Don't you hate that?
You know, I understand it's a newspaper.
Paywalls.
They got to make money. They got to do that. But if you're going to post it on social media, you should at least give me a teaser with the basics.
Oh man, it happens to me all the time, and I don't realize it's the Rockford Register Star until I click on it, and it like teases you to where you can see the background and it says, please subscribe for 1 week for $1.99. I'm just like, no, I don't want to. Like, and then I forget about the article and it's dead to me, and I just let it go.
Right. And I don't mean to complain about that. I mean, they're in business and print news has gotten hurt, but you know, there has to be a better way to do it, or especially since it's
I'm
online.
looking for that article right now.
Especially since it's online, it should be a little bit cheaper to
subscribe
for a year.
No, but I know how to get through.
Well, it's kind of like,
for more tips on how to steal media, call George.
Well, it's kind of like, okay, here's one, right? So the MLB is so bad that they have what are called blackout games. Yeah. You guys know about this?
Yes.
So like living in Rockford, you get blacked out for the White Sox, the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, right? Which is pretty much our division, or the teams that we would like to see. You get blacked out, so you can't watch their games. So I have a buddy, Tony, that is a huge tech nerd, and he has my house routed. So it looks like my IP address is coming out of like Northern California. So when we turn on the MLB.TV app, it bridges it all the way to Northern California and then back, and I can watch all of those games no matter what, because it says I live in Northern California. And I had one of the coaches that I coach with, him and his son, he took his son to his first ever baseball game, MLB game, last night, the Brewers Cardinals, and they were sitting like 3 rows up from home plate. So you can see the first 2 rows. And the third row you can't see. And I'm gonna bust out this picture for you guys because you're gonna giggle at it. So I sent it to him saying, I can see you guys, but you can only see his son, right, in the white, and then the tree trunks of the legs that he has. And so that's all you could see the whole time watching him. But it was kind of cool because no one else got the game. We got to see him, and then the camera would go up and down, so you could see his son all the time. So it was kind of cool. But
nice.
Talk about getting around things like George does probably all the time.
I'm ready I'm excited for the baseball season. I'm excited that the Cubs are back to their motto, completely useless by September. So that's good. And now I'm excited about football, man. I cannot wait I love the summer, but football's my season. It's like a holiday every Sunday to sit down and watch. Well,
football's a little easier to actually consume.
Once a week. Yeah,
because it is once a week for your team, unless you're like sports betting and going into and you're doing Monday night games, Thursday night games, all the games on Sunday. But I mean, when you're following baseball, even when you follow hockey or basketball, there's so many games. So, wins and losses don't really mean much until you either get a real big lead or it's coming down to the wire and it's just a few games between everybody. You're looking to see how it goes to the playoffs. So, but for football, by week 8, you kind of know who's going all the way and who's not. It's just how it is. I'm just shocked though with some of the baseball right now. I'm looking at stats and like the New York Yankees have 50 wins.
Yeah, I think they're 20. Are they 20 games over 500?
Yeah, they're at 700 right now. They had 50 wins and only 18 losses.
Yeah,
since the season
they're the
started.
first team to 50 this year.
Yeah, and it was just that's just craziness in
And I think the
my
Mets are
opinion.
right behind that too.
Well, the Mets are right behind them, but not by
45.
a lot though. Yeah, it's 45 games, and I mean Dodgers and Padres are coming right up on our tail. I mean, they're at 43 and 41 games,
And
but
then
they're both in the West, so
I
that
think
helps.
I think the Braves went on like a 14 or 15 game winning streak.
They did, and they're still only 39 and 30.
Yeah, they like the last 2.5 weeks literally just found their groove, which, as you guys know in sports, like, do you want to find that groove in middle of June or do you want to find that groove in like middle of August, right?
Right. You want it in August. You definitely want to be there in August where you just start catching up because everybody else is fatigued and tired. So it just still freaks me out though when I'm looking at the American League and I see the Guardians, because it's like I keep forgetting Cleveland changed their name.
Just Guardian.
But you'd be shocked. They're right now, they're in first place in the Central at 35 and 28. And they've won their last 8 out of their last 10 games they've won. So that's
they've been booty the last couple of years. They've been bad.
Right.
I'm still calling it. I'm still saying White Sox win the division. They'll make some moves here before the trade deadline. When it comes to making it to the playoffs, they're gonna make a push. They've got the talent. They just need to get healthy and add a couple pieces.
They're only 3.5 games back right now.
Yep.
So that's not bad. And they are a true 500 team with 33 wins and 33 losses. So, I mean, that's just how it is. They have a shot. They get healthy. The other teams start hurting. Yeah, I can see it happening. I don't see them going past the Yankees this year. I don't see the Yankees slowing down. No. And I hate to say that because being a Mets fan, we hate the Yankees. It's kind of like the rivalry Cubs and Sox fans have here in Chicago. It's just, you want to see your city win. But it's like the Mets fans still don't want to see the Yankees win, though.
It's just like we don't want to see the Cubs win.
But that's why I brought up the whole Little League field, man. Right field for them is so short. I think it's like 315 feet, maybe. And the second deck hangs over, right? And most of their lineup, besides the Judge and Stanton, I mean, they got lefties that are just they're pull heavy hitters. Anthony Rizzo, right? He is a dominant pull hitter, right? But also can go to the opposite side. But you get a ball up in the zone and you just get a bat on it, right? Get Wood on a 95 plus mile an hour fastball, it's going. No. Regardless. Like it doesn't matter.
It's like such an easy, yeah. You know what I'd be interested to see is the splits. Home and away splits for some of these hitters on the Yankees. And what's their road versus home record too?
Right. Their home record. That's funny you say that because I have it right here in front of me. Their home record is 29-7, and their away record is 21-11.
So they're way better at home.
They are way better at home, but not by that much.
I wonder if it's possible to find a home run spray chart, right? Out of all the home runs the Yankees have hit so far, because you know how sometimes they break it out like you see them like per stadium, like they have all the stadiums kind of like squished into like one algorithm, like pitchers type thing. I wonder what the spray chart is for home runs at that porch that would not have gone out in other stadiums. And those balls that are going out at 315 could be a nice can of corn for the right fielder to catch and or center fielder to track down. I mean, I'd be intrigued. I don't know how you would get that or if it's even like posted. Most of the time that's like after the season details.
I think we need to find somebody to make an app and we could have that done. We could have our own app, tracking baseball, and that'll be it.
I think that, power to the Yankee they did it the way you're supposed to. They played to their advantage. They built their team knowing that they got that short porch and that's
but I also think there's constructed. John, you could correct me because I'm not 100% positive on this, but I think they also, when they designed the stadium, designed the openings to like going into the stadium, the walkways, right, to allow the airflow to push out to right field or something like that.
I wouldn't know about that. I'm not an engineer. I don't know about that.
I think it was in. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read an article one time that they had they talk about it where like the airflow goes through that immensely and it kind of pushes the ball
I know they redesigned and modernized the stadium, made it bigger, made it for more seating, but they kept to the general design of how the original Yankee Stadium was built. And that could have been airflow issues like that because, you know, back then, when it was originally built, you had to think about airflow and making people move. There's no fans, there's no place to go, there was no place to get away from heat. And New York gets hot. It's not one of those places that stays cool most of the year. It's like you're playing baseball in Northern California where, you're off the coast and it's not as bad as it is in the valley. We get some heat waves in New York. It's just the stadium is what it is, but they tried to keep it as iconic and original as they could.
That's still pretty cool though.
So
it's kind of like Wrigley Field. Wrigley Field, they've done all those things, changes and stuff, but they've kept the field itself true to what Wrigley Field's always been.
But they can't build anywhere else. It's not like for Wrigley to do a move, they would have to do exactly what the Bears are doing now, where they're just going to build a brand new stadium in a brand new area, because even the Bears couldn't build a new stadium where they're at now. You know what I mean? It's almost impossible. Like none of the parking lots are even close enough to Soldier Field to like say, we'll build a stadium here and then knock down that and make it the parking lot. You can't do it. You'd have to rework that entire area of the city to build a new stadium.
Yeah.
And they've done it once already. Yeah.
But as the Bears, right? Do you keep with the tradition, have an all outdoor stadium?
I don't.
Or do you have a retractable roof, the dome? Like they play to that advantage. It's when you're playing a team in the middle of December, like Miami, right? Miami comes in. They're playing them in the middle of November. It's cold. It's raining. It's snowing, slush. Like that's the Bears' element. Do you keep that, or do you get away from it?
Well, you would still have that, though, right? You would still have that with a retractable dome.
Well, you would.
Weather would come into the main field, but the people watching would be a little bit more protected. That's the difference.
No. I don't know. I enjoy going to a Bears game in the heart of December, getting my bibs on, throwing my long johns on, you know what I mean? Like, and just toughing it out with the crew. Like,
I don't know. Those are my favorite games. I went to Trubisky's rookie year, Christmas Eve, Bears Browns. I went to that. I think it was the Browns, but I went to that game and it snowed like a foot during the game. There ain't nothing like going to tailgate with my coveralls, all dressed to the hill, and it snowed the entire game, and you could see the snow just piling up all over. And that was the game where Trubisky scored, and he did his little snow angel in the end zone. I mean, that's bear weather. I agree. As a fan, absolutely not. Do not make an indoor stadium. But you know that if they actually do build this in Arlington, it's gonna be. Because it'll attract Super Bowl, it'll attract so many more events. They're going to, unfortunately.
It's so funny. It reminds me of those Miller High Life commercials when they build it and say, "We're taking our high life back, baby. This ain't you ain't living the high life."
Yeah.
Well, and that's to attract the Super Bowl. They're going to want to do that because the NFL did make the biggest mistake in the world having the Super Bowl at the Meadowlands. It was lowest attendance turnout. It's an open stadium. Nobody wanted to go in the weather. And they said they'll never do it again. Unless it's a dome, they're not going to play anywhere in a cold climate for the Super Bowl. So, if you want that revenue, which they're going to want after building a new stadium,
they're going to do it, unfortunately.
And that stadium, from what I hear, is going to be a monster sports complex. It's not just going to be, just a stadium in the middle of nowhere. There's going to be hotels. They're going to try to bring a casino into the area. They're going to have where it becomes a destination weekend to go to a Bears game.
Cook County's going to grow by like 1 billion people.
Yeah.
So this episode quickly went to sports episode.
This is a full sports episode this week. Yes. So it's a slow week in the state line. Sorry.
Let me stick to the theme.
Have you been to the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis?
No,
I have not. But
they do this. It's the same thing the Bears are trying to do, right? And man, I've been there one time for a Bears Vikings game, and it is sweet. If you get an opportunity to go to a concert, anything there, it's incredible. It is like very, very high tech. They have everything you could possibly think of. It's really cool. Really,
That's
really
awesome. Cool. So staying on this topic of sports and bringing a little local, I got a funny story that so while I was on vacation, during downtime, I started tuning in. I don't know if you guys are, you obviously you guys are on TikTok, but you start seeing more and more TikTok videos be live videos. And in those live videos, there's a lot of people that are breaking sports cards. So I started watching that, and I got kind of suckered into it because when I was a kid, I used to collect cards all the time, but I really dropped the hobby ever since I kind of went off and got a job and left the house. Became an adult, yeah. So,
well, wait. I'm still upset, Mom. I love you, but you threw out my shoebox of baseball cards, and I had the complete 1986 Mets, our World Series run. Yeah, and I didn't know what I had at the time, but in '91, after I moved out of the house, it was like, I'm just getting rid of the shoebox.
So continue my story. So
yes.
I started getting into watching, and my kids, my oldest daughter's 11. She started watching with me, and she was like getting all excited about it. And I was like, oh, this would be kind of fun. So what's nice, back when we were kids, the only way to get cards, you go to the store and you buy a wax pack, and sometimes they have bubble gum inside, and it was like the thing to do, and you just get lucky. Now you just go online, and these people will sell boxes right online, and they'll open the cards live for you, and then they ship them out to you. So we bought into a couple breaks and had a little fun while we were on vacation, and got some hits, and they came in, and all of a sudden now I got back from vacation, and I was like, all right, let's look at my old cards. So I started looking through them, and lo and behold, I had no idea I even had these. I mean, like this one right here, this is a Kobe Bryant rookie card in basically mint condition, centering, everything. And I looked it up, and that goes for quite a bit. If you have it slabbed, they call it, where you send it in for grading. I have a stack of Kobe rookies. I have this card that I found, old school hologram. Apparently this is worth upwards of a couple thousand, and I've kept it in this since I was a kid. No idea. So it's kind of funny. I tapped into some of my old stuff, and I've got some valuable stuff.
We have a card shop here in town, right?
Which one?
Northside Collectibles.
Really?
It's on Riverside and Alpine. Zach Kelly, a buddy of mine, owns it. It's right there by Teriyaki Express and Made Right, cross street from Safe Light.
Okay. I did not know that. I knew that.
And he does videos where he's buying $5,000 packs, just a pack of 5 cards for $5,000 or $10,000. And he goes out and he has his own YouTube channel and stuff. And he starts, opening these cards, and you can also take yours in there, and he'll buy them from you or trade or sell whatever you want. But then he also, if you bring him a collection, he'll actually send them off to get graded for.
Interesting. So I didn't know that. I'm glad you brought that up. So great plug for him, because I need to go visit him. The guy that I knew used to own a card shop was right downtown, Brad Parvin. He had the card shop downtown Rockford, and I know that
right on State Street.
Yeah, he closed that shop, and I didn't know there was another guy in town, so I absolutely will go visit him. And that probably, I will not be surprised. So this is where I was bringing it local. So there's 2 versions of card collecting that after all this research. There's retail and there's hobby. So hobby is these breakers, these guys that are doing the videos. They're called hobby cards. But retail is when they're a little bit less expensive. Sometimes you don't get the best cards in those, but you still can get some pretty valuable cards. But they're at retail stores. So like your Walmart, Target will have it. Myers got it. And the problem is when you go in there, the shelves are bare, pretty much out of everything. It's because people buy them up as soon as they get restocked. So I did a little bit of research, and my kid's all excited because my kid wants to open it. She's getting tired of watching online. She's like, I want to open some myself. And I'm like, well, let's see what we could do. So since we've been back, we've been going every day to Meijer right here by my house and checking to see if they restock it. And somebody told us that Tuesdays are usually a good day to check. So we went yesterday. We went yesterday morning. We went yesterday at lunch. And then my mom took my kid yesterday at like 4:00. Nothing. So I was like, well, maybe we'll try again tomorrow. So I took her this morning at 7. and it was restocked and completely ransacked. I was like, who beat me? I checked 3 times yesterday, and I still couldn't get him. So I bet you it's this guy that card shop owner probably goes and, because you can at Meijer you could buy a mega box of Prism, which is like the hot football item right now, for $50, and they're selling for 120 online. So he's I mean, you buy a whole rack full, buy a case of them, there's money to be made there. So I bet you that's the guy. I thought I was safe, that nobody in Rockford's going to be doing this. We'll find them. Nope.
So my 7-year-old's huge into cards. Like,
yeah.
he gets his grandmother, his nana, my wife to buy him packs galore. You want to know? He pulled like a $2,500 card a couple months ago out of a pack from Big Lots.
Big Lots.
Big Lots in McChesney Park, where the McChesney Park Mall used to be.
Well, yeah, they sell them sometimes at Dollar Tree, Dollar General. You got to check everywhere, the retails. But the problem with retail, so this year that Panini got smart. So right now, the hottest thing in the marketplace is, for everyday collectors, are the Prism. Prism just released their 2 weeks ago. They released their hobby boxes, and their retail just released last week. So everybody's trying to get the Prism and all the Prism 101s and all these special cards. I mean, that's the hottest in terms of like everybody is after those. And then you have the high end, which is your Flawless and National Treasures. But those are the ones that you were talking about that are like $5,000-$10,000 a box. Flawless is a $10,000 retail box, and you get 8 cards and 3 slab cards per case. So 11 cards cost you almost 11 grand. So you're paying $1,000 a card. I actually did break one of the ones I did break, and I took a big risk. Was I did a $2,500 break, and I was like sweating as they were opening their cards and into National Treasures. There's a couple National Treasures and a couple like high-end stuff. And sure enough, I pulled a on-card RPA, true RPA of Davis Mills. Davis Mills is a rookie, obviously. He's a nobody. That card's worth $5 grand that I pulled out of a $2,500 break. So I'm kind of excited to see where this hobby takes me and my daughter within reason. But I'm after right now, I want to find just some cheaper small boxes that she can open and
within reason. $2,500.
That's what I'm saying. I will not be doing that again. That was kind of a one-time. Let's see what we get, and we got lucky. We hit big, but I will be looking for more of the retail, trying to figure out this system, because retail $30-$50 a box, and her to have fun every once in a while would be amazing for some of these cheaper hobby or retail boxes.
So Josh, be sure to send me your friend's information though, so I can put that in the comment section below while this is posted. So you can find his information, find the name of the store, and how to get a hold of them.
I'm not even gonna have to send it to you, because we know as soon as we hang up on this call, George is on his way there. Right.
Well, you're just gonna text it to me so I have it for the upload later. So
that's what I was gonna say. I bet you any money that I will visit that store before this episode airs.
I will bet money that we'll be wrapping this up in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and George will be there in the next 30.
Oh, 100%. I'll be getting a phone call. Hey, man.
That's awesome.
Well, that's an amazing hobby though. You guys got going on with your daughter, and I mean, yeah, it's the original NFT, isn't it though? Like everybody talks about cryptocurrency and NFTs, baseball cards, sports card collecting. That was like the original NFT. That was an item, and based on what that person's performance was in their career, that value either went up or down. So it exploded.
COVID exploded cards, man. Like I was stunned to find out that you get like a Patrick Mahomes rookie RPA, true RPA, you're talking $250,000, which is insane. And I was showing you, I think yesterday at the event, the original the triple logo man. That's the buzz of everything right now. The LeBron James triple logo man's on auction was 1.8 million yesterday.
Holy crap!
With 3 days to go, it's just insane.
That is amazing.
So what are you going to bid?
I'm not, no chance. But it was pulled out of break site. And after you finish this, after we wrap this up, do yourself both a favor. Google or go on YouTube and put in the video of Mac Jones Black Finite. That's all you need to put. The first video will be a kid, is a 13-year-old kid opened the box. He bought a box on release day of the Prism, the one product that's the hottest right now. And he opened it on camera for himself, and he hit the 101 the Black Finite Mac Jones. And he screams for about 20 minutes. He couldn't believe it. That is what the hobby's about. He sold it for $100,000.
Wow.
13-year-old kid.
13-year-old has his college fund already paid with a card.
Done with one purchase. And he screams for about 5 minutes. It's hysterical. It's a great video. And so what I like the most about something like this, especially with the kids, it's something to do that teaches them a little bit about supply, demand, and finance, and takes them away from the iPads, the TVs, the digital stuff that's really it's unfortunate but true. I mean, kids right now, like, they cry when you take that stuff away, and I didn't have any of that stuff when I was a kid. And so if I can introduce my kids, even if it's in a somewhat expensive hobby, but teach them a little bit about finance and supply and demand and the ins and outs of how you run business and have fun doing it. And let's be real, I mean, I'm a sports fanatic, so to me, some nostalgia in there, I love it. I think it's a great idea. And if we have a local shop that's doing it right, I will absolutely. I'm glad we started recording this episode thinking about what's happening in the area. Never did I think we'd be plugging a local shop like that. And that's what this podcast is about, my friend.
Well, that's it. And we've got a whole lot of stuff to plug this weekend as well. I mean, it's a slow news week, basically. There's not a ton of events happening, or at least there's not a ton of events that I'm aware of. So if you want to get your event out, again, go to Repping the State Line on Facebook, join our group, and reach out to myself, George, or Josh, and let us know your event. Give us a couple weeks notice. We will definitely be more than happy to plug your event or what's going on at your store or shop or restaurant right here on the podcast. But I was doing a little research, and Friday seems to be a slow day. Let me pull my notes here real quick. But this weekend, June 24th to the 26th, so we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is Belvedere Heritage Days at the fairgrounds, and some stuff going on in the surrounding area. And if you just Google Belvedere Heritage Days, you will find the full list. But a couple of quick things: there's a steak cook-off on Friday night, and Saturday and Sunday there's Kansas City barbecue competitions. So if you like, that's at the fairgrounds in Belvedere. So that's going on this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
My kid also has a baseball tournament this weekend at the fairgrounds. So why you go over there and get your Kansas City barbecue? Come mosey on over and watch a bunch of youth baseball in the area.
Or while you're there for youth baseball, you give us a review of the Kansas City barbecue.
I'll be in New York.
Oh, yeah, you'll be in New York. Oh, bummer. All right. So then on Saturday, though, we have right here in my adoptive hometown of Roscoe, Illinois, at the Main Street Square, which is 5300 Williams Drive, we have the Taste of Maine. First time they're ever doing this. It starts at 2 p.m. It goes till 8 p.m. It is a food truck festival. So if you like food, you like food trucks, this is the way to go. So they got batches, that's with a Z, so BATCHZ, like instead of the other word, it's batches, it's all right, just the way I'm saying it. You got what I'm saying? We're not a kid show, but we're still friendly for families.
We all picked up what you put down.
Right. So Batches Barbecue food truck will be there. J&C Old Fashioned Ice Cream truck will be there. We got Perfectly Seasoned, which is a local business right there in the Main Street Square. They're going to have a food tent. They cater a lot of events in our area. I've had their food at multiple events. Very good stuff. Pizza Fresca food truck will be there. So if you want pizza from a food truck.
Oh, great.
Saboris food truck. So I'm guessing that's tacos, right? Isn't that the Mexican taco place we did a food truck from one time? Saboris?
No.
Well, I'm assuming they didn't give us information on what's on each, but I'm guessing by the names. Upstream Fish Company truck will be there. So I'm assuming it's fish sandwiches of some sort or seafood. And then Vintage Goose Cafe food truck will be there. So if you like food trucks, Saturday from 2 to 8, great place to get some lunch and hang out with the community right here in Roscoe. Later that night at 7:30, if you're into vegan food, which I've been here to eat many times, and if you like vegan food and craft beers, Pig Minds Brewing Company is having a comedy night Saturday night at 7:30.
Did you know they're the only? I think they're one of the only microbrew all vegan restaurants in like the whole United States.
They're one of a very small handful, and I know for a fact they're the only one in the Midwest.
Yeah,
but there's maybe I think 7 or 10 total throughout the whole country.
But when they opened, I think they were like 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I've been there for events because I do a lot of stuff with over the years with Winnebago Buy Local, which is one of my passions. Helping local businesses. So that's why we have this. They do a lot of events there, and I've had the vegan food. I've had their vegan nachos with the cheese they make from soy It's like being a meat eater. I mean, I love meat. Don't get me wrong. I like everything you can get. I like dairy. I'm eating these nachos, and you can't tell that it's not real cheese. Like, well, I'm not saying it's not dairy cheese. It's a real cheese product. It's just not made in the traditional senses. And they have portobello mushroom burgers. They can do for deep fried jalapeno poppers with that same cheese inside of it. It's just some really good food for somebody. If you haven't tried it, go try their food. Also, real quick, they have great beer. And then Blue Collar, that's one of their signature beers. That's one of my favorites they make there. And now I'm a wino. So McEachran Winery, right over here in Caledonia, from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock this Saturday, has live music with Kayla Sieber, Seebar. I have not heard her play, but I mean, live music at a winery, how could you beat that? If you want to relax the day, get one of their awesome slushies. That's one of our favorite things there. They do these amazing slushies. They usually have a food truck of some sort set up with this kind of thing, or they're doing food at the place now. And then same thing, if you don't want to go to comedy night, Shotgun Jane is playing at Rascal's Bar and Grill. So they bring a big crowd. And then Sunday, as always, 3 to 6, Hotel Goodwin has music on the rooftop. So it's a slow week, like I said, for what I found. I don't know if you guys found anything to add to our spaces, but there's always something to do. If you just Google things to do near me this weekend, you'll get a whole list of stuff. And I'm just keeping it local. There's some big concerts going on within an hour's drive of here. But, that's what I got for you.
Good stuff.
You guys have anything else to add for the crew this week?
I think I've talked enough. We're over an hour.
We're good.
We're over an hour, which means it's going to be a fun one. So yes, this is our new sports podcast.
No, so this was definitely our sports episode. And what's the name of that card shop one more time?
It is Northside Collectibles.
Northside Collectibles. So we will need to, or we already gave him a nice.
The owner is Zach Kelly.
Cool. We will definitely put that in the comments. So definitely visit. I'm excited. I'm excited that the hobby in general is back and flourishing. Yep. And that's all we got for you this week.
All right. And remember, guys, like, subscribe, share podcasts, YouTube, Repping the State Line Facebook. That's all I have to say.
All right. See you next week.
See you guys.
All right. Have a good one. Safe travels, my friends.